pregnant black waitress serving tables to survive encounters the Korean Mafia boss she thought abandoned her. He discovers she's carrying his child, but she doesn't know his powerful family faked his death to erase her from his life. Now he'll burn down everything to reclaim what's his. The champagne flutes rattled on Amelia's tray as she pushed through the velvet curtain into Lotus Club's VIP section. 6 months pregnant, feet swollen inside shoes 2 sizes too small, lower back screaming with every step. But rent was due in 3 days and the utility company had already sent 2 warnings. She smiled through the pain. Survival had taught her that much. The VIP room glowed with amber light and expensive cigars. Men in suits worth more than her yearly salary laughed over whiskey that cost what she made in a week. She'd learned not to make eye contact. Rich people didn't see servers anyway, they saw the service. Keep moving. Smile. Disappear. Her baby kicked hard against her ribs and she pressed a hand to her belly. I know, little one, just 2 more hours. She whispered in English, her native tongue feeling like home in this foreign place where she'd never quite belonged. The manager's voice crackled through her earpiece. Table 7, premium service. Don't mess this up, Amelia. She straightened her uniform, black dress straining across her belly, name tag crooked, and headed toward the corner booth. Then she saw him. Do-Yun, alive. The tray slipped from her hands. Crystal exploded across marble. Champagne sprayed like blood. Impossible. 6 months ago, she'd stood in black at his funeral. Closed casket because the accident was too severe. His mother's cold hand on her shoulder. You should leave now. You don't belong here. She'd scattered white flowers on polished wood that held nothing but lies. Do-Yun's head snapped up at the crash. Their eyes locked across the room. His face went white, then red, then something darker. The whiskey glass in his hand shattered. Blood dripped from his palm onto the white tablecloth, spreading like a stain that couldn't be hidden. What would you do if you saw someone you buried? Drop a comment. I need to know I'm not alone in thinking about this. Amelia. Her name in his mouth after 6 months of silence, 6 months of grief, 6 months of learning to survive without him. It hit her like a fist to the chest. She stepped back, bumped into a table, hands caught her shoulders, someone's security. Do-Yun rose from his seat. All 6 feet of controlled violence and expensive cologne and eyes that used to look at her like she was everything. Now they burned with something she couldn't name. Let her go. His voice was quiet, deadly. The hands released immediately. You're dead, she whispered. I went to your funeral. And you left. The words came out like gravel, like broken glass. Took the money and disappeared. What money? What are you? Her voice cracked. The baby kicked frantically, sensing her panic. She pressed both hands to her belly, protective, desperate. His eyes dropped, locked on her swollen stomach. Everything stopped. The club noise faded. The people disappeared. There was only Do-Yun's face as he counted backward in his head. Watched realization hit him like a bullet. How far along? That's none of your business. He moved closer. She'd forgotten how fast he could move when he wanted something. He was in front of her in 2 steps, and she could smell him? Sandalwood and danger and the ghost of who they used to be. How far along? His hand reached toward her belly. She slapped it away hard enough to sting. Don't touch what you abandoned. The words landed like a slap. She watched something break behind his eyes, something that looked almost like pain. I never, he started. You died, she hissed. I buried you, I mourned you, and now you're here, alive, and I'm... Her voice broke completely. The manager appeared, face red with fury. Amelia, you're fired. Get out. Do-Yun didn't even look at him. She's coming with me. I'm not going anywhere with you. Amelia's voice shook, but she held her ground. The manager grabbed her arm. You heard me. You're done. Do-Yun's hand shot out and caught the manager's wrist. Squeezed. The man went pale and released her immediately. Touch her again, Do-yun said softly, and they'll never find your body. The VIP section had gone completely silent. Everyone watching, waiting. Amelia's mind was spinning. 6 months ago, his mother had sat in her tiny apartment with two men in black suits. Do-yun died in a car accident last night. Here's compensation for your time with him. 50 million won. Take it and leave Korea quietly. You were never his wife. Just a mistake he made. She'd thrown the money back in their faces. Spent her last dollar on a black dress for the funeral. Stood in the back while his family grieved a closed casket. His mother had turned, met her eyes across the cemetery, and smiled. Smiled. Like she'd won something. I saw you buried, Amelia said again, louder now. Closed casket. Your mother said the accident was too severe. What accident? Do-yun's voice went flat. Dangerous. I was in Tokyo on business. When I came back, you were gone. My mother said you'd taken money and left in the middle of the night. The room tilted. She told me you were dead. She told me you abandoned me. They stared at each other. 6 months of grief and lies and manipulation hanging between them like smoke. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his jaw clenched. My mother wants to know why I'm not at the meeting. Your mother, Amelia whispered, told me to scatter flowers on your empty grave. Do-yun's expression went from shock to something absolutely lethal. We're leaving, now. No. That baby is mine. We both know it. And we're going to find out exactly what my family did. His car was exactly like she remembered. Black Mercedes, leather seats, tinted windows so dark you couldn't see inside. A mobile fortress. She'd ridden in it 100 times when they were married, back when his world felt like adventure instead of prison. He opened the door, waited. I can't just leave work. You were fired. I need this job. I'll buy the club. You don't need anything from them. His voice was matter of fact, like purchasing a nightclub was as simple as buying coffee. God, she'd forgotten what his world was like, where money solved everything except the things that actually mattered. She got in the car because her feet hurt and the baby was kicking and she was so tired of fighting alone. He slid into the driver's seat, didn't start the engine, just sat there, hands gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping him tethered to earth. Show me proof, he said quietly, of the funeral. Her phone was cracked, screen spiderwebbed from being dropped too many times. But she pulled up the photos she'd taken that day. Needed evidence that he'd existed, that their love had been real. The cemetery, white flowers, the closed casket with his name engraved, Baek Do-yun, beloved son. His family gathered in black. His mother's face composed and perfect, and one of herself in the background, blurred but visible, face swollen from crying, hand on her still flat belly. Do-yun took the phone with shaking hands, scrolled through each photo slowly. She watched his face change, watched fury build behind his eyes like a storm gathering strength. When? His voice was barely human. March 15th. I was in Tokyo. My mother called and said you'd left, that you'd taken 200 million won and disappeared in the night. I never took anything. I left with 2 suitcases and a broken heart. Tell me everything, Do-yun said. From the beginning. Amelia closed her eyes, let herself fall back into the memory she'd spent 6 months trying to bury. Your mother came to our apartment 3 days after you left for Tokyo. She had 2 men with her. Security, I think. She sat on our couch like she owned it. I guess she did, technically. Everything was in your name. She could still see it. The older woman's perfectly pressed handbook. Diamond earrings catching afternoon light. Hands folded delicately in her lap like she was discussing weather instead of destroying a life. She said Do-yun died last night. Car accident on Gangnam Boulevard. Very tragic. Very sudden. Just like that. Cold. clinical. Amelia's voice cracked. I thought I was going to die too, right there. The pain was... Do Yun's hand found hers, squeezed. She put an envelope on the table, said it was compensation for my time with you, called our marriage a youthful mistake you'd made, said the family would handle the funeral arrangements, and it would be better if I didn't attend, that I'd never belonged in your world anyway. And the money? I threw it in her face, told her I didn't want anything from people who thought love could be bought. She laughed bitterly. Stupid, right? I should have taken it. Would have made these 6 months easier. You went to the funeral anyway. Of course I did. You were my husband. I loved you. The past tense hurt coming out. I stood in the back. Your mother saw me. She smiled. Do Yun. Like she'd won. Then I went home and fell apart. When did you find out about the baby? 2 weeks later. I'd been too destroyed to notice I'd missed my period. Took a test in a convenience store bathroom and just stared at those 2 lines. Do Yun pulled the car into an underground garage. Not his family's compound. Somewhere else, private, safe. He turned to her and she saw tears on his face. Do Yun. The man who'd once broken another man's arm without flinching, crying. I looked for you, he whispered. Tore apart soul looking for any trace. I thought you'd abandoned me like everyone said. Thought I'd meant nothing to you. You meant everything. I should have known better. Should have known you'd never take money, never just leave. His hand hovered over her belly, hesitant. May I? She nodded, not trusting her voice. His palm settled gently on her stomach. Warm. Careful. The baby kicked immediately, hard enough that they both felt it. Do Yun made a sound between a laugh and a sob. That's my child. Daughter, it's a girl. His face transformed. A daughter. I call her Little Warrior, because she's been fighting since day one, just like her mother had to. He leaned forward until his forehead touched hers. I'm so sorry for every moment you spent alone, every tear, every night you were scared. I should have protected you. You didn't know. I should have known, should have trusted what we had more than what I was told. His thumb traced circles on her belly. What have you been doing? How have you survived? Waitressing, housekeeping, whatever paid cash and didn't ask about visas. I've been living in a Goshiwan in Itaewon. Tiny room, shared bathroom. But it's... You've been living in a Goshiwan? Pregnant? Alone? His voice went dangerous again. It was all I could afford. Never again. He pulled back, met her eyes. I'm going to fix this, all of it. But first, I need you to understand something. My family did this. My blood. And I'm going to make them pay. The door to the safe house burst open. Do Yun's mother stood in the entrance, flanked by 4 security guards. Perfectly composed. Diamond necklace glittering, face like carved ice. Do Yun, come home, now. He stood slowly, placing himself between Amelia and his mother. How did you find us? I always know where you are. It's my job to protect this family from mistakes. Her eyes slid to Amelia. I see you found the help. Her name is Amelia, my wife. That marriage was annulled 6 months ago. Quietly, legally, she has no claim to you or our family name. Amelia felt the words like a physical blow. You forged annulment papers too? Mrs. Beck smiled. I did what was necessary. Do Yun is meant for greatness, a partnership with the Min family, political connections, a legacy, not some foreign waitress who can't even speak Korean properly. I speak Korean perfectly, with an accent that marks you as other, as not one of us, as temporary. She turned to Do Yun. This infatuation has gone on long enough. Come home. We'll handle this situation quietly. This situation, Do Yun said, voice like death, is my daughter. For the first time, Mrs. Beck's composure cracked. Just slightly. Impossible. 6 months pregnant. Do the math, mother. Then we'll arrange, finish that sentence, and I'll forget you gave birth to me. The guards shifted uncomfortably. One reached for Amelia's arm. Do-yun pulled a gun from his jacket, aimed it directly at his mother's head. The room froze. Touch her, he said softly, and you die. Blood or not. Amelia's heart stopped. This was the man everyone warned her about, the monster his family had raised, and he was pointing a weapon at his own mother to protect her. Mrs. Beck's eyes hardened. Choose carefully, Do-yun, her or your empire. You can't have both. Amelia ran. She didn't think, didn't plan, just fled through the back door while Do-yun faced down his mother with a gun and impossible choices. She made it 3 blocks before the cramping started. Sharp, violent, wrong. She collapsed against a convenience store wall, sliding down to the cold pavement, hands pressed to her belly. No, 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 not now, little warrior. Please, not now. A woman screamed. Someone called for help. Then Do-yun was there, scooping her up like she weighed nothing, his face white with terror. I've got you. Hospital. We're going to the hospital. Your mother... Doesn't matter. Nothing matters but you. The hospital was chaos. Doctors, machines, urgent Korean she couldn't follow through the pain. Do-yun's hand in hers, crushing her fingers. Early labor, the doctor said in English for her benefit. Stress-induced. We need to stop it or the baby comes now. Too early. Save them, Do-yun said. Both of them. Money is no object. Hours blurred together. Medication, monitoring. The baby's heartbeat on speakers. Strong, fighting, just like her mother. Finally, stability. The doctor smiled. Baby is okay. Mother needs complete bed rest. No stress, no work. Someone needs to take care of her. Do-yun didn't leave her side. Not for food, not for calls, not when his mother tried to enter the room and he had security physically block her. Amelia woke in a private suite with evening light streaming through windows. Do-yun sat beside her bed, head bowed, hands clasped like prayer. You stayed. He looked up, eyes red-rimmed. I'll always stay. I chose you the moment I saw you teach English with passion in your eyes. I chose you when I married you. I chose you today when I aimed a gun at my own mother. And I'll choose you tomorrow and every day after. 3 weeks later, Amelia stood in a private garden wearing a deep red hanbok that Do-yun had commissioned specifically for her, modified for her 7-month belly. Beautiful, traditional, but on her terms. Do-yun wore traditional Korean wedding attire, but his neck tattoo, the dragon that marked him as Beck family, was covered with makeup. Erased. I had it removed last week, he whispered as they prepared for the ceremony. Laser surgery. It'll take months to fade completely, but I wanted to start today. Fresh. New. That's your family's mark. You're my family now. The ceremony was small. Just them and a traditional officiant. No Beck family members, no corporate alliances, no politics. When Do-yun spoke his vows, his voice was steady. I was taught that family is blood, that legacy is empire, that power is everything. You taught me that family is choice, that legacy is love, and that power means nothing if I'm alone. I choose you, Amelia. I choose our daughter. I choose the life we'll build together. Amelia's turn. You saw me when I was invisible to everyone else. You loved me when I didn't fit into your world. You protected me when your blood turned against us. I choose you, Do-yun. I choose this terrifying, beautiful love. I choose us. They bowed to each other, shared the traditional wedding cup. The baby kicked hard between them and they laughed through tears. Later, in the penthouse he'd bought far from his family's territory, Do-yun knelt beside her, hands on her belly. Tell me about little warrior. She kicks every time she hears your voice now. Smart girl, she knows her daddy's here to stay. Amelia touched his face. No regrets? Your empire? Your family legacy? I built a new empire, one where you're safe, where our daughter grows up knowing she's loved, not useful, where love isn't weakness. He kissed her belly. That's the only legacy that matters. What would you sacrifice for love? Comment below. Your story might inspire someone else to choose their heart over everything.